And I'm going to go ahead and talk about inventory-minded marketing. So we're going to talk about what it is, why it's important, how to implement it, and I'm also going to give you some key performance and inventory reports that you can generate in order to improve your success with inventory-minded marketing. So first of all, what is inventory-minded marketing? Really, it's one of the secrets to scale. It's inventory management with marketing in mind, and it's marketing with inventory in mind. It's very much linked to cash flow. Inventory is linked to cash flow in a huge way, and it addresses the cost associated with stocking out. The other thing that inventory-minded marketing addresses is the cost associated with overstocking, right? So it looks at both sides of the coin. Those two things are costing you money, whether you're overstocking or you're stocking out, those are costing you money. So it has everything to do with cash flow, and it also has a lot to do with recovering lost profit, recovering wasted capital, right? Because when capital is just sitting there not making you money, it's being wasted essentially. So we want to start thinking of your inventory not just as a product, right? It's not just a product on a shelf, but you want to think of your inventory as capital, right? It is an asset. So start thinking of your inventory as capital. Think of it as a resource and think of it as a currency. Excess inventory, it tends to be like dead weight, draining your resources, right? Tying up capital, storage fees, and it could actually be a resource. So sometimes you look at those slow moving products and you consider they're pretty much, dead weight. They're costing you a bunch of money, but they could actually be helping you in your business. We tend to only focus on our hero products and we push aside the other, say, 80% of products that just really aren't the ones that are making us the 20% of the money, right? We usually have about 20% of the products making us 80% of the money. So looking at your slower moving products, you can actually start seeing them as resources. Excess inventory could mean that you could actually take that excess inventory, you could drop the price, you could push your PPC more, and you can start selling it, seeing if you can drive the listing up the rankings, earn more reviews, improve cash flow, recover capital. So starting to think of your inventory as that resource, right? You have excess inventory, you might as well use it to try to see if you can move that product. Otherwise, it's going to continue to be dead weight. It's going to keep sucking up those fees. It's going to keep holding on to that capital that you really need to invest in other products that maybe will do better for you. And you could potentially change a product that is a dead weight product into one of your best sellers if you just started looking at it differently and how you can use that inventory as an asset or as a resource. And if you fail, you gave it a good try, you worked it out, worked it through your system, you liquidated it quickly, you got your cash back and you moved on, right? But just letting them sit there and kind of ignoring them because they're the ugly stepchild of your business isn't really doing you much. So how does it work, right? We like to call this sync to scale as well. It's, again, very tied to scaling, but essentially inventory-minded marketing is marketing talks to inventory and inventory talks to marketing. So a lot of times those two teams are separate and they're not talking to each other. That tends to be a problem. A couple of ways that it could be a problem. When marketing doesn't talk to inventory, some of the things that can happen is that they can create these stockouts that could be avoided. So they start running a PPC ad campaign, and that campaign goes so well that you end up stocking out. I've talked to a lot of agencies, PPC agencies, and asked them the question, how often is it that you have stocked your client out of inventory? And pretty much invariably, they all said yes, they had stocked out their client. So that's something to keep in mind, is that you should be vetting your inventory before you start a PPC campaign. See if your PPC campaign can actually be sustained for that particular product on an inventory level. Another example would be that, say a holiday comes up, one that you didn't really plan for, let's say, Valentine's Day or Mother's Day. You didn't plan for the holiday, but you thought, well, might as well do something. It's the holiday. I can throw out some emails to my list, give them a discount coupon code, and make a bunch of sales. So you do that, and then the next month you're running out of stock and you're pumping the brakes and you're trying to slow things down. You're trying to get something in and you do an expensive air shipment to get something in. Well, you just ran a discount coupon code that you didn't need to run, and you could have potentially avoided that stock out. Another example would be listing optimization, right? Listing optimization that doubles your conversion, for example. Amazing problem to have, but it might stock you out. So you have to see before you make significant changes to your listing, whether those significant changes could lead to a stock out. Testing these things out and testing them before you actually make those changes and seeing how the inventory will respond potentially is extremely important. So that's an example of marketing talking to inventory. Now, the opposite, inventory talking to marketing, inventory should be giving certain information to marketing as well. There is proactivity that needs to be on both sides, right? For example, you may have cash flow issues because you have a ton of money tied up in product that isn't moving. Inventory should let the marketing team know, hey, by the way, we have a ton of inventory. Here's what's overstocked. Maybe you could do something with this, and just kind of remind them that here are the products that we have excess inventory on, because they're focused on those hero products and the next new thing. The other inventory problem that could come about is that you've got storage fees that are piling up every month. So that's further hurting your cash flow. So those slow moving products that you just want to ignore and not pay attention to, those are actually hurting your cash flow. And you're maybe having trouble paying for your inventory for the products that are really moving well, and recovering some of that cash from those slow moving products or those dud products, pushing that through and getting some of that cash back, no matter what the cost, that might make more sense. Even if you lose money, getting that money back might make more sense, because it gives you the money that you can use to either invest in new products or pay your suppliers for existing products and avoid stocking out. So that's some examples of how it works. And let's talk quickly about all of the reasons why it's important, right? So you have stockouts and you have overstock. Those two things are costing you money. I wanted to talk a little bit about the cost of stockouts, the true cost of stockouts. There is a hidden cost to stockouts that we don't really think about, right? We think about the lost sales. That's very evident. When you stop selling a product for that period of time, you've lost sales and you've lost revenue. Then there's the cost of air shipments. If you have to air freight inventory to get back in stock faster, that cost us a lot of money. We had a seller who was paying $1.20 per unit, consistently doing expensive air shipments as the normal way of handling the supply chain because of just not being organized. Once this seller started using SoStocked, the cost per unit dropped to about 45 to 55 cents per unit. That's like a 65 to 75 cent per unit savings. Huge amount of savings. That could save a business, for example, $150,000. It's crazy the amount of money you could save just on the air freight alone. Then you have the cost of re-ranking, and we don't necessarily always know what that cost is. But the hidden cost that we never talk about, never think about, is actually the amount of money that you spent or didn't make because of discount coupon codes and PPC ad spend that you spent to buy your way into a stock out. Whereas if you didn't give that coupon code away, or you didn't run that special ad campaign at a higher ACoS, for example, and you simply just sold that inventory without that extra cost, you would have made more money and potentially stayed in stock. So the hidden cost as well of stock outs is the amount of money that you paid Amazon or discounted your product to be able to get to the point of needing to stock out. You should rather sell at full price without that additional ad spend and stay in stock, of course, while you're keeping your rankings up. And then, you're maximizing the profits, you're avoiding those. That means more money for you. And then we get into the overstock products, right? You've got storage fees involved with overstock products. So you're spending more money on a monthly basis. Every month you have those products sitting there, you're making less and less per unit selling those products because of the storage fees. And then you want to recover that inventory, right? We talked about recovering capital. So those are all of the reasons that it's important. And in terms of capital, the thing I want to emphasize about the importance of turning capital is that the faster you turn your money, the more money that you can potentially make, right? If I can turn my capital faster than you, I will grow faster than you. If I can take the same amount of money and turn it once a month, reinvest it once a month, whereas you turn it and reinvest it once every 6 months, I will grow exponentially faster than you. So that's something to keep in mind. Turning the money is so important. It's called cash flow for a reason. The faster it flows, the quicker you grow. All right, so how do you implement inventory-minded marketing? So I'm just gonna show you a couple of things that you can do. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my account and show you a couple of reports that you can use. Okay, so the types of reports that you want to have, that you want to send to your marketing team, the inventory team sending reports to the marketing team. The first report that we have that we usually would send would be the Stockout Risk Report. That is showing which products are going to stock out, which products are at risk of stocking out. And this should be sent to the marketing team, let's say on a monthly or even a weekly basis, so that they know if you've got a product that's going to stock out and it's going to have a 5-day stock out, that's a pretty easy stock out to avoid. But if they don't know what's happening, they're not going to avoid it. You should be, slowing down sales a little bit, right, on this product. If we know that these things are coming up, we can do things to slow down sales. Instead, lack of coordination, more often than not, actually causes someone to increase marketing right into a stock out. So it's important to pay attention to those things and to know what's coming, to let them know, what orders are coming, let them know what items are potentially going to stock out. Another one that would be good is an Overstock Report. And so what we're doing is we're looking at how many days left on Amazon. And if they're greater than 90 days, this is our example, right? Days left on Amazon is more than 90 days. You have more than 90 days worth of inventory. And that's going to show us that we have products that have a ton of inventory left. We can actually start doing some of these sales, right? We can take this money and instead of it costing us and keeping our cash flow tied up, we're going to start pushing on these. We know we can actually, be more aggressive. We can, lower the price. We can, do more PPC ads and be aggressive and try to take some of these products that maybe are a little bit of dud products and re-rank them and make them into stars, perhaps, like I talked about. Another report would be a liquidation report. This could also be turned into, say, a slow sales report where you could pick a range, right? It's less than 20, but more than 5, right? If it's 5, I want to liquidate. If it's between, 6 and 20 or 6 and 19, and we're talking about velocity, how many units a day is this product moving? If it's between 6 sales a day and 19 sales a day, I call that slow sales, and I want to do something to boost those sales. You could make a report like that called a slow sales report. This is a similar report. This is called a liquidate report or a liquidation report. My velocity, my daily sales are less than 5 units a day. Let's sell through these and just get rid of them. We don't want to sell them anymore. Send this list to the marketing team. The marketing team looks at how much it's going to, how much they can spend, what they can do, and how quickly they can get that cash back to be able to take that money and put it into other things. All right, so those are all the reports that I would recommend. I'm sure there are other reports. So those are some of the main reports or the basic reports that inventory should be sending to the marketing team. The next thing I wanted to jump into is actually the forecast page, because marketing also needs to be giving information to the inventory team. I'm gonna go ahead and share this again. And so you actually should be putting that data into the forecast. So marketing can send information such as, we're going to be doing a PPC campaign. We're going to try to boost sales by 20%. You plug that in to whatever SKUs, right? So maybe we have a specific group of SKUs, right? We have a tag, we tag everything as marketing. All the ones that we decided to tag as marketing are going to get a 20% boost. Now I can say that every single one of those products is going to get a boost, and I can take a look at those and see if we're going to create any stockouts. So we don't have any stock out here, but maybe if we look at another product, maybe this other product is going to stock out if we apply that same campaign to that product. So inventory can send a list and say, this is great. These 3 SKUs cannot be marketed right now. Let's do it later. And we're going to plan to increase our order, but we're going to do it later. So you have things like, PPC, things like lightning deals. Let's plan some lightning deals and let's see if we can actually, if we're actually going to stock out, if we plan a 7-day deal, for example. You plug those numbers in and you can actually see that it's going to cause a stock out. This is the stuff that should be coordinated, right? Maybe we can do it on a different product, but not this product. Can we do lightning deals? Yes, we can do lightning deals on this product, right? You see the lightning deals plugged in here. We also say that we're going to boost sales. Let's say, an Easter campaign. We're going to do an Easter campaign and we're going to increase the sales for Easter by 50%. And we can see that we can actually afford that. We're not going to have a stock out, right? And we see how much we need to order to accommodate that. So those are just some of the ideas in terms of how to implement inventory-minded marketing. It's just really the basic idea of getting marketing and inventory to communicate. And then, of course, the next step would be getting the cash flow or the accounting team to then be able to kind of communicate as well. The cash flow is a big part of inventory, and then into marketing, it's all one big machine. So we're really focused on inventory-minded marketing, and then we'll be getting into cash flow. That's something that I'm very interested in exploring as well. And so more and more, you'll see us talking about that. So it's very important that the marketing team lets inventory know the plan before they do it, because it gives them the safety and security to know that they can market. The inventory team then is not constantly picking up after marketing. The inventory team is often the last person to know, and all of a sudden they realize they need to place an order and there's a stock out coming up, and it's because there's something very, very successful that has happened in marketing. But a good marketing strategy turns bad really fast when it tends to stock you out, right? It actually becomes harmful. So we need to all work as a team. So inventory runs the numbers, makes sure that we can stay in stock, and points out any problems in advance, and also is proactive in giving information to the marketing team. So the days of marketing in a vacuum or on a whim are over, especially with Amazon cracking down on inventory. So if you truly, truly, truly want to scale, and we talk about scale a lot, and we talk about cash flow a lot, if your cash flow is hurting and you want to scale, you need to adopt inventory-minded marketing to be able to truly do that. So the next actions that I would take, I would start implementing some of these reports, right? Start implementing a stockout risk report, an overstock report, slow sales report, and a liquidation report. Create a foundation to be able to open up communication between marketing and inventory, right? We have a sheet that shows the entire workflow, but it's going to allow the marketing team to know what types of things the inventory team needs to know. The inventory team then knows what types of things the cash flow or the bookkeeping or accounting team needs to know. And then they all cross-check and approve the plan together so that everyone is on the same page. You're not running out of cash. You're not running out of inventory. You're not running into a stock out. And your business then can grow exponentially like you're trying to have it do, rather than shooting yourself in the foot. So adopt those reports. The next thing that you could do is come on to one of our webinars. I talk about inventory fundamentals. And lastly, sign up for So Stocked. You can optimize your profit. All of these foundational fundamental things are baked into the system. I'm extremely passionate about this. We talk to sellers all the time, and these are the things that we have implemented in order to help you to make this process easier. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll talk to you next time. All right. Bye, guys.